Have you ever woken up and even before opening your eyes, your mind was already racing? To-do lists, deadlines, worries, all arriving before your first breath of the day. In a world that never stops moving, we often forget a simple truth. Mornings aren't just a start, they are an invitation to come home to ourselves. One mindful breath, one quiet pause, one moment of honest gratitude. These small choices can shape your entire day. Today, I invite you to explore 8 healing morning habits rooted in Buddhist wisdom, Gary Kargi, that will help you cultivate calm, clarity, and connection. Soggy, from the very first light of day. And if your heart is ready for a more peaceful beginning, see. Let's walk this path together, gently and with intention. Imagine this. You wake up. Not with a jolt, not with anxiety, but with stillness. The world is quiet. Your breath is calm. And before anything else, you take a moment to return to yourself. Now let me ask you something. How do you usually start your mornings? Do you open your eyes and immediately scroll through your phone? Rush through breakfast? Or maybe you skip it altogether? Start worrying about deadlines, traffic, or what went wrong yesterday? You're not alone. But what if I told you that the first hour of your morning could quietly shape your entire day? In Buddhist wisdom, the morning isn't just the beginning of a new day. It's a sacred space, a threshold between stillness and action, between the dream world and the waking world. And like any sacred space, how we enter it matters. The Buddha once likened the mind to a garden. If you don't tend to it carefully, weeds will grow, worries, distractions, regrets, overthinking. But if you gently water it each morning, with mindfulness, gratitude, clarity, what grows instead is peace. And that peace doesn't just stay in the garden. It travels with you to work, into your relationships, into every challenge you face. Science actually supports this ancient insight. Studies show that the first 30 to 60 minutes after waking up significantly affect your emotional state, your focus, and even your physical health. Cortisol, your stress hormone, naturally spikes in the morning. So if you rush, scroll, worry, you're amplifying that stress. But if you begin with a pause, just a few quiet moments of intention, your body and mind shift toward balance. And from that balance comes power. The power to choose calm over chaos, presence over distraction, compassion over reactivity. So today, I want to invite you into a new kind of morning, not one driven by noise or urgency, but one guided by presence. In the next part of this video, I'll walk you through 8 simple but powerful morning habits, each inspired by timeless Buddhist teachings. These aren't about becoming perfect. They're not routines for the ultra-disciplined. They're small, gentle practices, things you can do right from your bed or in the first few quiet minutes after you wake. They're tools to help you breathe more deeply, see more clearly, and live more meaningfully. Before we dive in, take a moment to reflect. What energy do you usually carry into your day? Is it scattered, anxious, heavy, or is it grounded, clear, and open? You don't need to judge the answer, just notice it. And know this, how your day unfolds is not just about what happens to you, but how you begin. Let's start again, with awareness. Take a breath with me. This is the beginning of something different. Let's explore what Buddhist wisdom can teach us about mornings. Us and about the kind of peace that doesn't depend on your schedule, your inbox, or your circumstances. Us out of that, but begins the moment you choose to return to yourself. Before the world asks anything of you, before the phone rings, before the emails pile up, before the to-do list starts shouting, there's a sacred moment. Right when you open your eyes, it's quiet, undisturbed, a blank canvas. But let me ask you this, where does your mind go the second you wake up? To your schedule, deadlines, that one thing you forgot yesterday? If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. Most of us start our mornings already sprinting in our thoughts. There's a beautiful story from Buddhist tradition about a young monk who came to the Buddha, overwhelmed. He said, "Master, my mind feels like a storm. The moment I wake up, I'm already anxious." The Buddha gently asked, "Where does your mind go upon waking?" The monk replied, "Straight to my duties, to what I must do." And the Buddha simply said, "That is why your mind is not at peace. You leave yourself before even arriving. The Buddha's teaching was simple. Begin with the breath, not the tasks, not the notifications, not the rush. Just breathe. Mindful breathing means returning to the one thing that's always with you, but so often forgotten: your breath. You don't need a cushion or incense or an hour of silence. You just need presence. Here's something you can try starting tomorrow morning. When you wake up, don't grab your phone. Instead, just sit up slowly. Maybe place a hand on your heart. And take 3 long, intentional breaths. Inhale, feel the air gently expanding your lungs. Exhale, and notice how your shoulders soften. Do it again and again. You don't need to fight your thoughts. Just let them pass like clouds while you stay anchored in the rhythm of your breath. Modern science is now catching up with what Buddhist monks have practiced for thousands of years. Studies show that just 5 minutes of mindful breathing in the morning can lower cortisol, your stress hormone, improve blood pressure, increase focus and emotional clarity, and even support long-term mental health. It's not magic, it's physiology. Your nervous system responds to how you begin your day. Let me tell you about Helen. For years, she woke up feeling like she was already behind. Her phone lit up with messages, her mind raced with tasks, and her anxiety set in before her feet hit the floor. Then, after attending a mindfulness retreat, she decided to try something different. She started every morning with a breath. Just one breath, then 3, then 5 minutes. No pressure, no goal, just presence. And what she discovered was powerful. Her morning softened, her mind calmed, and the peace she cultivated in those first 5 minutes followed her through even the busiest of days. Maybe you're like Helen. Maybe your mornings have felt rushed, disconnected, or reactive. And maybe, just maybe, what you need isn't another productivity hack, but a pause. So tomorrow, before the world asks for anything from you, give something to yourself. A breath, a moment, a return. Because sometimes the smallest habit becomes the strongest anchor, and that first breath you take might just be the most important one of your day. In the next part, we'll explore the second habit, a simple shift that rewires your mindset toward joy and abundance. But for now, just breathe. Let's pause for a second. What's something in your life right now, this very moment, that you might be taking for granted? Maybe it's the warmth of your blanket, a familiar voice in the next room, or even the simple fact that you woke up today. It's easy to overlook these things. We're wired to chase more, fix what's missing, and solve what's wrong. But sometimes what we're truly searching for is already here. There's a story from the life of the Buddha that always stays with me. A man came to him, visibly frustrated. He said, "I have a house, I have food, I have people who care about me, but still, I'm not happy. Why?" The Buddha looked at him gently and replied, "Because you keep focusing on what you don't have and forget to cherish what you do." That moment was a turning point for the man because he realized gratitude isn't something we feel only when life is perfect. It's something we choose to practice, especially when life is ordinary. So here's a small but powerful habit you can try tomorrow morning. Right after you breathe and center yourself, take a quiet moment to reflect on 3 things you're grateful for. They don't have to be big. It could be the softness of your bed, the sunlight coming through your window, the chance to try again today. If you want to go deeper, keep a small gratitude notebook by your bedside. Write them down. Make it a ritual. You don't have to write paragraphs. A few simple lines are enough, because what matters isn't the length of what you write, it's the feeling you awaken when you write it. Modern research backs this ancient practice in incredible ways. Studies show that people who practice gratitude regularly sleep better, have stronger immune systems, experience less anxiety and depression, and report higher levels of life satisfaction. Well, because gratitude literally changes the way your brain filters reality. Instead of scanning for threats, it starts scanning for beauty. It teaches your nervous system, there is enough. I am enough. This moment is enough. Take Robert, for example. A few years ago, mornings were the hardest part of his day. He'd wake up already tense, thinking about work, bills, things falling apart in his personal life. But after being introduced to Buddhist teachings on gratitude, he tried something new. Each morning, he wrote down 3 things he was thankful for, however small. At first, it felt forced. What do I have to be grateful for? He thought. But within weeks, something began to shift. He started noticing little joys, the smell of his morning coffee, a smile from a stranger, the quiet strength in his breath. And slowly, his mindset changed. He didn't solve every problem overnight, but he started facing life from a place of wholeness rather than lack. What would happen if you began your day not by chasing something more, but by simply acknowledging the enoughness of now? Gratitude doesn't mean pretending everything is perfect. It means choosing to see the light that's already there, no matter how faint it might seem. So, tomorrow morning, as you sit quietly, ask yourself, what is here right now that I can be thankful for? And let that quiet appreciation guide you forward. Because when we begin with gratitude, we begin with peace. Coming up next, a heart-opening practice that not only softens your mind, but expands your compassion toward others. But for now, may this breath, this moment, this life be enough. Imagine this. You start your morning not by reaching for your phone, not by rushing into tasks, but by softly offering kindness. First, to someone you love, then to a stranger, then to yourself. That, my friend, is the quiet power of compassion. In Buddhist teachings, compassion isn't just about feeling sorry for others. It's about seeing clearly, recognizing that we all carry burdens, fears, wounds. It's about opening your heart to the truth that we are all connected, and that what hurts one ripples through us all. But here's the thing. We often forget to include ourselves in that circle of kindness. So let me ask you gently, when was the last time you offered compassion to yourself? To your mistakes, your tiredness, your fear? There's a story from the time of the Buddha that says more than 1,000 words. One day, a man approached the Buddha, full of rage. He spat on him, expecting anger in return. But instead of reacting, the Buddha calmly wiped his face and asked, "Do you have anything else you'd like to give?" The man was stunned. He had never met someone who met hatred with peace, who met cruelty with compassion. That moment changed him, because compassion, when real, doesn't react. It understands. You can bring that same spirit into your mornings, with just a few minutes of loving kindness meditation. Here's how. Sit quietly, picture someone you care about. Silently repeat, may you be happy, may you be healthy, may you be safe, may you live with ease. Then, gently expand the circle. Include someone neutral. Include someone difficult. And finally, say those same words to yourself. It might feel strange at first, maybe even uncomfortable, but every time you do it, you're softening something. You're melting the armor around your heart, and that changes everything. Modern research shows that people who practice compassion meditation regularly have lower levels of anxiety and depression, experience greater emotional resilience, feel more connected in their relationships, and even produce more oxytocin, the hormone linked to bonding and trust. It's not just a spiritual ritual, it's a healing one, and it begins in the quiet minutes of the morning before the world pulls you in 100 directions. Take Laura, a nurse in a busy hospital. Every morning felt like battle, rushing out the door, bracing for stress, feeling numb. But after discovering loving kindness meditation at a mindfulness retreat, she made a simple shift. Just 5 minutes each morning, she sent kindness to her patients, to her coworkers, and eventually to herself. She didn't change her job, but something within her changed. Her patience grew, her burnout eased, and her sense of peace returned, not because life got easier, but because she met life more gently. So tomorrow morning, before the demands begin, take a moment, sit still, bring someone to mind, and silently send them kindness. Then do the same for yourself. It won't fix everything, but it might just soften the way you move through the world. And in that softness, there is strength. In the next part, we'll explore how setting a clear morning intention can shape your mindset for the entire day. But for now, let this be enough. A breath, a whisper of compassion, a heart gently opening. Each morning we wake up standing at a crossroad. We don't know what the day will bring. There might be joy, or struggle, or unexpected change. But no matter what lies ahead, there is something we can choose, our inner direction. This is where setting a morning intention becomes a powerful practice, not a goal, not a to-do list, but a quiet promise to yourself about how you want to show up for the world and for your own heart. In Buddhist teachings, intention is part of what's called the Noble Eightfold Path, a path toward awakening. It's not about control, it's about alignment, bringing your thoughts, actions, and energy in harmony with your deepest values. Because the truth is, when we don't set an intention, we tend to drift, reacting instead of responding, surviving instead of living. But when we start the day with clarity, even the small moments feel more meaningful. So, ask yourself this: how do I want to move through this day? With kindness? With patience? With courage? With gentleness? It's okay if the answer changes each day. What matters is that you take a moment to ask. Here's a simple way to make intention setting part of your morning. After your mindful breathing and gratitude practice, close your eyes. Place a hand over your heart. Take a slow breath in, and as you exhale, ask yourself, what quality do I want to embody today? It could be something like, today I will meet challenges with calm. Today I will speak gently and listen deeply. Today I will honor my own pace. Speak it silently or write it in a small journal. Let it be a soft anchor you return to throughout the day. Neuroscience backs this up in a fascinating way. When you set a clear intention, it activates something called the reticular activating system, a part of your brain that filters your attention. It starts looking for things aligned with your intention and helps you stay grounded when distractions or stress arise. So you're not just floating through your day, you're steering it, mindfully. Let me tell you about Jack, a middle school teacher. His mornings used to be chaotic. He'd wake up late, race to get ready, and enter the classroom already feeling overwhelmed. But after learning about Buddhist intention setting, he tried something new. Each morning, before stepping into work, he repeated one phrase to himself. Today I will be present with my students. Simple, just 10 seconds. But it changed everything. He found himself listening more, judging less, breathing deeper, and over time, his students responded too, with more calm, more trust, more openness. All because one man took a breath each morning and remembered why he does what he does. What if tomorrow morning, instead of rushing into action, you pause for a few quiet breaths and gently asked, who do I want to be today? Let that answer come from your heart, not what the world expects, not what the calendar demands, but what your soul whispers in the silence. Because your intention isn't just a thought, it's a compass. And even on the most unpredictable days, it can guide you back to what matters most. In the next part of this series, we'll explore how your body holds wisdom and how mindful movement can bring peace and clarity to both your mind and morning. But for now, take a breath. Place a hand on your heart and set your intention. Let that be your beginning. Your body is more than just a vehicle that gets you from point A to B. It's a living temple, a quiet messenger, a reflection of your inner world. And each morning it's calling out, not with noise, but with subtle sensations. But here's the question: are you listening? In a world that rushes, pushes, and pulls, Buddhist wisdom invites us to slow down, not just in thought, but in motion, because how we move through our day is just as important as what we do. Buddha once said, when we walk, just walk. When we sit, just sit. At first, it might sound simple, even obvious, but behind those words is a profound invitation to be fully present in your movement, to bring your awareness into your body, not just your mind. This is what we call mindful movement. It's not about speed, strength, or sweat. It's about attention. It's about bringing stillness into motion. Morning is a sacred window. Your mind is soft. Your energy is fresh. And your body, after hours of stillness, is ready to stretch, awaken, and reconnect. When we move mindfully in those early moments, we send a message to our whole system. I am here. I am listening. I am safe. This simple act grounds your nervous system, centers your focus, and nourishes both clarity and calm. You don't need a yoga mat or a fancy routine. Just space, breath, presence. Here's a morning mindful movement ritual you can try. Stand tall, barefoot if you can, close your eyes, and take a deep breath. Slowly roll your shoulders back, feel the tension melt. Stretch your arms gently overhead, as if welcoming the day. Walk slowly, step by step, across the room or outside. Not to get somewhere, but to feel every movement. Let your mind follow your body. Let your body guide your mind. That's the rhythm of mindfulness in motion. Studies show that just a few minutes of mindful movement each morning can reduce cortisol, your stress hormone, improve brain clarity and emotional regulation, and help reconnect the brain-body loop often broken by busy digital life. Ancient practices like walking meditation, Tai Chi, or gentle yoga aren't just tradition, they're tools of return, returning to yourself, to now, to what matters. Bella, a single mom of two, used to sprint through her mornings, coffee in hand, phone in the other, mind racing. But after attending a mindfulness retreat, she learned about moving with awareness. Now, instead of rushing, she takes 10 quiet minutes each morning, just to stretch, breathe, and move slowly on her porch. Her body hasn't changed dramatically, but her mornings? Completely transformed. She feels more connected, more anchored. And her children, sensing her calm, have started joining her, moving slowly, playfully, mindfully. So, tomorrow morning, before the world spins you into action, give yourself a moment to meet your body with kindness. You don't have to be flexible or strong, you just have to be present. Because when you move with mindfulness, you're not just exercising the body, you're nurturing the soul. So take one step, one breath, one gentle motion, and let that be your meditation in motion. In our next episode, we'll explore the simple yet sacred act of eating with awareness, and how even breakfast can become a doorway to inner peace. But for now, walk slowly, stretch gently, and remember, your body is not in the way. It is the way. Most of us eat because we're hungry, or out of habit, or because the clock says it's time. But what if your breakfast could be more than just fuel? What if it could become a sacred pause, a moment of connection between your body, your mind, and all the unseen hands that brought this meal to you? In Buddhist practice, even the simplest act, like eating, is an invitation to wake up, not just to what's on the plate, but to the life behind it, and the presence within you. In the monasteries, meals aren't rushed. Before a single bite, monks pause in silence, honoring the earth, the farmers, the cooks, the rain, the sun. Because in Buddhism, food is not just food. It is a reminder of interbeing, how deeply connected we all are. Thich Nhat Hanh often said, "In this piece of bread, you can see the whole cosmos, the sun, the rain, the wheat field, the farmer's smile." So when we eat with awareness, we don't just nourish our body. We nourish our relationship with life itself. Here's how you can turn your everyday breakfast into a mindful ritual. Before you eat, take a breath. Look at your food, really look. Let your eyes notice the colors, the shapes, the effort behind it. Say a silent thank you. You don't need a prayer, just a quiet sense of appreciation for the earth, for labor, for this moment. As you take your first bite, chew slowly. Notice the textures, the flavors, the warmth or coolness. Put down your spoon or fork between bites. Give your body space to receive, and your mind a chance to listen. You don't need to do this for a full hour. Even 5 minutes of mindful eating can shift your entire day. Mindful eating isn't only a spiritual practice. It's backed by science. Studies show that eating with awareness helps improve digestion, reduces overeating and emotional snacking, increases satisfaction with food, and lowers stress levels around eating. When you're present with your meal, your brain registers satisfaction more clearly, and your body responds with better energy, not just fullness. Let me tell you about Nick. He's a graphic designer with a fast-paced schedule. He sat down at the table, no phone, no laptop, just his food and his breath. At first it felt strange, too quiet. But over time, he began to feel more energized in the mornings. His digestion improved, his stress reduced. And more than anything, he said, I finally realized how much life I'd been missing in the small moments. So tomorrow morning, before you rush off to the day's demands, pause, hold your cup of tea, look at the oatmeal, feel the weight of gratitude in your chest. Not because everything's perfect, but because this moment is real. You deserve to begin your day nourished in every sense, not just fed, but seen, grounded, grateful. Let breakfast be more than a meal. Let it be a quiet conversation between your body and the miracle of now. In the next episode, we'll explore the 7th morning habit inspired by Buddhist wisdom, the power of sacred silence, and how it can help you hear what truly matters. But for now, eat slowly, taste fully, and remember, presence is the most nourishing ingredient of all. Silence. A word we don't hear often enough in a world that rarely stops talking. But have you ever noticed some of the most peaceful moments in your life? They weren't filled with words. They were wrapped in stillness. In Buddhist tradition, silence isn't emptiness. It's presence. It's the sacred space where the noise of the world fades and the whispers of your soul begin to speak. Each morning, we're handed a gift, a clean slate, a few precious moments before the world demands our attention. But what do most of us do? We grab the phone, turn on the news, let noise fill our minds before we've even taken our first breath. What if instead we started with silence, a few minutes of stillness, not to achieve something, but to simply be? Because in the absence of noise, something beautiful begins to rise. Clarity, calm, connection. Here's a gentle way to begin. Set aside 3 to 5 minutes each morning, right after waking or after your meditation. Sit comfortably with no music, no guidance, no distractions. Breathe deeply and let the silence wash over you. When thoughts arise, don't fight them. Just notice them and let them drift like clouds across a still sky. That's it. No pressure, no performance, just you and the quiet. In many Buddhist monasteries, the early hours are held in noble silence. No words, no eye contact, just the soft sounds of footsteps, breath, and morning light. Why? Because silence allows us to return to the present moment. It teaches us to listen, not just to others, but to ourselves. As Thich Nhat Hanh wrote, silence is essential. We need silence just as much as we need air, just as much as plants need light. Modern research now echoes what ancient monks knew intuitively. Just 2 minutes of silence can lower cortisol, stress hormone. Silence boosts neurogenesis, the growth of new brain cells. It enhances memory, emotional regulation, and creative insight. So the silence you gift yourself in the morning isn't wasted time. It's sacred restoration. Let me tell you about Evelyn, a nurse working in a busy trauma unit. Her mornings used to be chaotic. Phone calls, alarms, traffic, constant chatter. She was exhausted, emotionally and spiritually. But one morning after a mindfulness seminar, she sat in her car for 5 minutes before entering the hospital. No radio, no scrolling, just silence. That simple pause changed everything. It became her morning sanctuary, her invisible armor, her way of grounding before giving to others all day long. She told me, those 5 minutes of silence became the most important part of my entire day. You don't need a quiet house or a mountain retreat. You only need a moment, a decision, a breath. Tomorrow morning, before you speak, scroll, or start the rush, try this. Sit, breathe, listen. Let silence meet you, because sometimes the most healing answers come in the stillness between your thoughts. In our final episode of this series, we'll explore the 8th habit, sacred reading, beginning your day with words that awaken the heart. But for now, honor the hush, trust the stillness, and remember, in silence, you return to yourself. There's a quiet magic in the early morning. When the world is still and your heart is soft, It's in that space, before the noise of the day, that you can choose what voices will shape your thoughts. Because what you feed your mind in the morning often becomes the voice that stays with you all day. So today, I invite you into a beautiful habit, sacred reading. Not just reading for knowledge, but reading for nourishment. In Buddhist tradition and many spiritual paths, words are seen as more than language. They are seeds. Each word you take in can plant something inside you. Peace, compassion, clarity, or chaos. Sacred reading means choosing words that uplift, that guide your heart gently, that remind you of what matters most, before the day pulls you in 100 directions. It could be a passage from a Buddhist sutra, a few lines from Thich Nhat Hanh, a verse from the Dhammapada, or even a short reflection that touches your soul. It doesn't need to be long. Even one mindful paragraph can shift your whole inner state. Here's a gentle way to make sacred reading part of your morning ritual. Create a quiet space. After meditation or silent sitting, hold your chosen book or text with both hands. Take a deep breath and ask yourself, what message do I need today? Read slowly, not to finish, but to feel. Pause after a sentence that resonates. Let it sink in. Let it speak to you. Optional, write it down in a small journal. Just one line, one truth, one intention to carry with you. This isn't about studying. It's about receiving, about letting wisdom meet you exactly where you are. In the Noble Eightfold Path, there is right speech and right thought. What we hear, what we say, what we allow into our minds, these things shape our karma, our choices, and our peace. By beginning the day with sacred words, you're not only guiding your thoughts, you're aligning with truth. As the Buddha said, words have the power to both destroy and heal. When words are both true and kind, they can change our world. Modern science supports this too. Reading calm, reflective passages can regulate your nervous system. It reduces cortisol and enhances emotional resilience. It activates brain regions tied to empathy, insight, and self-awareness. So, this isn't just spiritual, it's deeply human. Let me share Maria's story. She's a high school teacher and mother of 3. Her mornings used to be rushed, emails, kids, coffee on the go. But one day she kept a book of Zen poetry on her nightstand. She began reading one short poem each morning, just 2 or 3 lines. She told me, "It felt like someone was whispering peace into my soul before the chaos began." That small pause, those gentle words, became her morning compass. And no matter how busy the day became, she carried that stillness with her. So tomorrow morning, ask yourself, what do I want to plant in my mind today? A complaint, a to-do list, the news, or a word that grounds you, a sentence that awakens kindness, a line that opens your heart. Sacred reading isn't just for monks. It's for you, right here, right now. Choose words that feel like sunlight. Let them guide your thoughts, your energy, and your presence. Because in a noisy world, sacred reading is how we choose what kind of voice we carry within us. You've just completed this journey through the 8 morning habits inspired by Buddhist wisdom. Thank you for walking this path with me. I hope these practices, breathing, gratitude, compassion, silence, and now, sacred reading, become quiet companions in your daily life. Until next time, read gently, live mindfully, and begin each day with the words that awaken your soul. And just like that, you've arrived at the final breath of this gentle journey. From the quiet rhythm of mindful breathing to the soft unfolding of gratitude, compassion, intention, and stillness. We've walked together through 8 simple but sacred ways to begin a new day. But here's the truth, dear friend. These aren't just morning habits. They are invitations, gateways, daily rituals that help us return to something deeper than routine, to the essence of being fully alive. In a world that rushes us forward, these practices pull us inward. They anchor us, not in control or perfection, but in presence. Because how we start the morning is often how we meet the world. With clarity or with noise, with softness or resistance, with awareness or autopilot. You now hold in your hands 8 gentle tools, not rules, not doctrines, but quiet companions that you can return to on the days that feel light, and especially on the days that don't. There's no correct order, no pressure to do all 8, no need to be perfect. Maybe tomorrow you just breathe, or write down one thing you're grateful for, or savor your tea in complete silence. Let that be enough, because healing never begins with pressure, it begins with permission. Permission to pause, to listen inward, to start again, gently, honestly, quietly. So as the sun rises tomorrow, and you're standing at the doorway of a new morning, remember this. You get to choose the tone of your day. You get to decide what energy you carry forward. You get to begin, not by doing more, but by coming home to yourself. And perhaps that's the most beautiful thing Buddhist wisdom reminds us of. Peace was never outside you. It was always waiting. In the breath, in the silence, in the stillness between moments. Thank you for being here, for allowing yourself to slow down, to feel, to remember. If this series has touched something in you, even just one soft note, I hope you'll carry it with you, and maybe pass it along to someone who might need it too. Until we meet again, may your mornings be calm, your thoughts be kind, and your heart stay beautifully open to this unfolding life. Namaste.